I'm Mark Seifter.
And I'm Linda Zeiss Palmer.
And this is Arcane Mark. Hello and welcome to the show, everybody.
Welcome to Arcane Mark.
Today we're going to be making paired items, a thing that we totally know what they are, and we definitely knew what they were before we started this stream for sure. Maybe not. So paired items is a term that does not seem to be a trait or like a other keyword, but does appear in the special clause of certain items that say, well, this item pairs with, and then names another item. And it basically means that the item can do something. One of the items, which is wielded by presumably somebody else, can do something when combined with another item. Although it could be, like many of the examples are weapons, so I guess you could potentially dual wield them.
Yes.
Unless there's some other clause hiding in Treasure Vault somewhere that like actually prevents somebody from dual wielding them. But the main point is that they work together to do something cool and interesting when they're combined. So much like when we are doing any of our other workshops, we're going to want to start with a concept. But the key for today, much like I guess like an Iron Chef type thing where you have to use the secret ingredient, is that your concept has to use the secret ingredient of being paired items. So you can't come up with something that is not paired items.
Yes.
For this item concept. So begin putting your concepts into the chat, and we will have a vote for which concept we're gonna build.
So we could do weapons like those examples, or we
but they
could
don't
also
have
do
to
it,
be
but
weapons.
they don't have to be weapons. They could be any set of items that have some kind of a power that's
any
linked to them
pair
being a
of two items that do something together. Generally, when two separate people use them, so not like the boots and cloak of Elvenkind, where one person uses them and gets like a set bonus. So let's see what ideas our chatters have for a pair of items. Also, if you can't think of a pair of items, you can just put one item and then we'll just somehow pair it with one of the other items that somebody else puts.
Or even if you're just thinking like, hey, you know, this kind of category of item would be cool to start riffing.
Yes, remember, it's a concept, so it doesn't have to be the entire item, right? Like, the concept could be like a pair of tomes, one of which is arcane and one of which is divine, and somehow they are paired together.
Alright, we've got a pun. Leshy fruit, some kind of pear.
Aha. So, it's paired leshy fruit.
A leshy pear that is part of a pear.
A pair of leshy fruit that, when paired together, have different effects.
Yes.
Okay. So that's our first concept in chat.
I got that down.
Okay. Well,
we're guaranteed to do that unless someone else has an idea that they like better than the leshy fruit pear. Something that lets you switch places.
Okay. So this would be place swapping item. Two halves of a tomb which can be combined together.
Do you mean like a tome, like a book, or a tomb
I think like a tomb, and then it creates like a skeleton or something?
Or
maybe?
like a tomb, like a crypt.
Although tomb is usually a... Oh, it is the book. You were right.
It's the book, yes.
Okay, so two halves of a grimoire / tome. Combined together to form the ultimate.
Voltron.
Yes, but maybe it's a necromancy one, so it is a tomb
there
and
you
a
go.
tome. So we've got place swapping item, leshy fruit pear, and two halves of grimoire tome that can be combined together to form the ultimate Grimorum Arcanorum.
We have best friend necklaces.
Aha.
There you
Best
go.
friend necklaces. Okay.
Wonder Twin powers activate.
Form of an animal. Shape of water. Alright. So, a large key weapon that pairs with a lock shield.
A large key weapon
Keyblade plus lock shield. Okay.
Oh, right. You're typing them in.
Yes.
Not me.
I mean, you can, but
no, that's okay.
You don't have access to the chat.
That
I
is
mean,
correct.
technically you could by going onto the chat.
That's fine.
All right. So that's 5 ideas so far. That's probably enough to do a vote. But if you have any other pair ideas, you can put them out there like right about now.
Yes,
one in the Kingdom Hearts. Who knows? So, all right. Vote for 1, 2, 3, 4, or oh wait, a pair. We got some more.
A pair of two-handed swords.
A pair of two-handed swords, and the last one is bookmark and book of scrolls. All right, so pick Boop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7.
And I will tally the votes.
Yes. So we'll see which of these people are interested
First vote goes to 4.
Yes, best friend necklaces take the lead. Let's see what else people want to make.
You gotta vote for 3.
The 2 halves of the grimoire that combines together.
You can vote for your own idea.
You can totally vote for your own idea.
Yes.
Whatever you want, you absolutely
Whichever
can vote
one is
for
your favorite.
Idea. We've got
whether that's yours or not.
We've got a vote for place swapping item. Another vote for the grimoire.
The grimoire.
Yep.
Very cool.
And we've got a vote for the number 5, which is the Keyblade and Lock Shield.
You gotta vote for number 1. Oh man, the votes are all over the place.
Yeah, we've got Leshy Fruit Pear.
Rico's. So sometimes like half the ideas are Rico's.
Mm-hmm.
Which of your ideas is your favorite? Yeah.
All right.
Well, so far 3's the only one that has more than 1 vote.
That's true. However, we only have actually had 6 votes, so yeah. I'm going to give everyone the ability to vote for 2. So
5.
You can go at 5. So you can go ahead and... and another 4 from Mr. Blobface. You can go ahead and vote for a second one if you've only voted for 1 so far.
And if you haven't voted yet, vote for 2.
All right, so there's
we need more
for
votes.
5.
I saw another 4
that is Dustin's second one.
5, yes.
Yep.
7.
Okay. That's Copernicus's second one.
Yes.
Because of the
fact... Thanks for the sub, Mr. Blobface.
Yeah, thanks for subscribing, Mr. Blobface. Because of the fact that there are few enough votes compared to the number of actual things, I figure it makes sense
doing a double
vote at this point. So I'm going to put in some XP for Mr. Blobface. Okay. So then after that, then we've got
2 more 5s.
2 more 5s.
Oh, 5s.
And
5s are probably good.
Locadora has finally caught it live.
Hi, welcome.
And Kitchef is going to add another vote for 2 and 1 for Rico's second vote.
So we have 2 votes, 1 or 2 votes for most of them, but we have 3 votes for 4 and 5 votes for 5.
Okay, well there we go then. The Keyblade and the Lock Shield has won it. So we're going to make a Keyblade and a Lock Shield that are paired to work together in a certain way.
So, when I think about a lock shield, I think about a thing that maybe is hard to move.
Yeah, I think it locks you in place. My guess is that the lock shield locks you in place somehow, and that the Keyblade can unlock and maybe gives the person who had the lock shield like a burst of speed when you unlock their place, and it has to be somebody else who does it or something like that. But we can figure out exactly what it does after we figure out what level it will be. So what level does this Keyblade plus Lock Shield seem like to you?
We're probably going to put them both at the same level.
We're going to make them both probably the exact same level. Like, let's see if these examples are the same level in Treasure Vault. So pick a level. Any level. Just put it in chat. All right, we've got
a 4 level and a 12 level.
4 and 12 so far. Put all your levels in chat. I will just boldly find some way of deciding, as I usually do, based on whatever levels are in there. Rico's not at all picking the exact level that his party just reached in Leshy's versus Dragons Kingmaker.
Oh, we got another 12?
Another 12, yeah. That's the mode.
But what shall be the mean?
I don't know, but the median is
we got another 4.
9.5. Oh, another 4. The median is now 7, and it's symmetrical.
That's true.
I mean, other than that 7 is closer towards, is not exactly in the middle.
That's close.
If it had been 8, then it would be 4, 4, 8, 12, 12, and it would be completely symmetrical. All right. So, does anyone else have any idea for what level it would be? Otherwise, we will go with the average, which means only Copernicus will actually be happy because everyone was at the 2 extremes, and then we meet in the middle.
I do think that 4 would probably be a little bit tricky to be able to give it substantial power beyond just having like the very basic.
Wait,
magic
Bearded
stuff.
Ogre Barashino has put in a 15.
Oh man.
Oh, that upends it here. So that's gonna be 47, 54 divided by 6 is gonna be 9 is the average level.
Oh, but then a 9 just came in.
Oh, wait. But then a 4 came in after that.
Because you want to be close to the paralyzed spell?
Wants to be close to the paralyzed spell. So
if you had an item that granted paralyzed, then how high level would that have to be?
That would have to be at least
like
7.
7, I think? Yeah.
Yeah. So, let's see. It was 54... And, tell the Locadoras will take 7 then. Okay.
All right.
So that would be at 61 divided by 7, which is roughly still 9. So we're going to do 9.
All right. We got a level 9 Keyblade.
Level 9. A level that nobody wanted.
And Lock Shield. So let's take a moment to think about what the base, what's the baseline for a level 9 weapon.
Okay. So the good thing about a level 9 weapon, and also part of why a level 9 weapon was a good choice compared to a level 8. Well, first of all, is that... I mean, actually, a level 8 would be okay. But a level 10 is... you get into trouble because it's a +2. And level 9, you can put the most weird, bizarre stuff into it. Because it is just barely not a +2.
Yes.
So it can be +1 striking, and all sorts of weird things and goodies can happen in a level 9 weapon. And so, whereas if it had been level 4, it wouldn't have been able to be striking, and it would be something where, like...
It would have a very minor power.
It would be something where just, like, in general, Paizo probably wouldn't make that item because of the fact that, if someone tried to make that item, Logan would point out, now it's competing with a striking weapon, and are you really going to get this instead of the striking rune? Or you could get the striking rune separately, but now it's taking 2 of your 4th level items, and everyone would be like, you're right. And then would not make a 4th level specific magic weapon.
So we know it's a Keyblade. So, like, are we going to use one of the existing weapons as a baseline for this? So we don't need to invent a new weapon?
I think that it's likely that the Keyblade would be based on an existing weapon in some way. Because it doesn't have to be literally a new type of weapon called a Keyblade, but it is fashioned in the shape of a key. So, everybody, tell me what kind of base weapon should this Keyblade be? So Mr. Blobface thinks it should be a longsword that bespokedly is bludgeoning versatile, but still with the versatile piercing trait. Kitchave says that the Keyblade should be a dog slicer.
I could totally
What do
say
other people think that the base weapon should be?
Is there a weapon that is like a longsword but versatile?
I mean, longswords are versatile piercing, but do you mean that one that's bludgeoning versatile piercing? Like a Morning Star, which obviously doesn't look like what we're going for here. So, why don't we have a vote between a longsword and a dog slicer? And Tela de Locadora says that they're a beginner GM who is studying game design and really is interested in seeing how we're thinking through this. Well, I mean, that's why we do these workshops, so I'm glad that you enjoy it. I hope they're useful to people.
What's to do with hook swords? I just
Rico suggests a hook sword. And it could also potentially be something that's modular as well.
Oh, it's a weapon from Treasure Vault, it looks like.
It is a sword with a hook near the tip, which can snag opponents or their weapons. looks like it is slashing advanced weapon with the traits disarm, monk, parry, trip, and it does have twin, and is also from Ruby Phoenix.
This one is cool. Although, noting this, when you attack with a twin weapon, you get bonuses if you're attacking with different weapons of the same type. Whereas if you're doing this,
2 hook swords.
Yeah, so you would be doing two hook swords.
You would presumably have somebody else who's
one person who's the hook sworder and one person who's doing the shield. Yeah, that totally works.
The question is also whether the key sword is whether you want it to be advanced, because that makes it harder for people to use it than if it was martial or simple. So here we go.
Shall we do another vote?
Vote. I will put this into the vote. 1 is longsword. I'll put Copernicus in here too, and Ezekiel's. So longsword, bespoke, bludgeoning. I put B for bludgeoning. Bear with me, it means bludgeoning. 2 is dog slicer. 3 is hook sword. 4 is going to be club, and 5 is sickle.
All right, I think we should have people vote for 2.
I think they can vote for 1 because there's
I guess there's only 5 this time. Yeah, that sounds good. All right,
and a few more people have come in since then. So vote for your favorite. What will our Keyblade be? A longsword with bespoke bludgeoning damage, dog slicer, hook sword, club, or sickle. And we'll decide what it will be based on your votes. And Rico points out Sawtooth Saber could also work for an advanced twin weapon instead of hook sword. That is potentially true as well. So if you vote for hook sword, we will. That could also be a vote for Sawtooth Saber, and we'll work out the advanced weapons together.
We got a 3 and a 5 so
far. We got a 3 and a 5 for sickle or hook sword. Does anyone else have an opinion on what our Keyblade should be? I'm looking at and thinking about the lock shield, and I think I have some ideas on that already. We have another one for a hook sword, and another one for a hook sword, and then we'll interrogate whether that's going to be a Sawtooth Saber afterwards, because I'm just saying that 3 is where you put all your advanced weapons.
Yeah.
All your weird advanced, like, somewhat jagged...
I mean, if something is gonna be, like, some weirdo weapon, the Keyblade does feel like something that might be...
We've got another hook sword, and we've got a 4 for club. Okay, so, another 4 for club. So we've got 2 4s, but we've got 3 for hook sword. And we've got,
We've also
we've actually got 4 for hook sword.
Yeah, we have 4 for hook sword.
Okay. So, then in that case, we are... Looks like we're going... another one for 4.
4's coming in.
So, we've got 3 for club. And we've got 4 for hook sword / possibly Sawtooth Saber. Ha! Throwing the key because it was a club. Oh, Elderworm Studio, you may have come in a little late, but we're deciding whether our key sword is going, or Keyblade-ish weapon, which doesn't have to exactly be a blade, is going to be a long sword that can do bestokely do bludgeoning damage, a dog slicer, a hook sword / Sawtooth Saber, or some other advanced weapon, a club, or a sickle. And we're voting now. There's 4 for club and 5 for advanced jaggedy sword thing that we will later interrogate which of them they are, because Sawtooth Saber came in after the vote started. So let's see what we have here. I think that I'm gonna call it in a few more seconds if nobody else votes for the jaggedy blade.
And then we can choose which one of those we
want. By 1 vote.
All right.
All right.
So let's do it.
Okay, so I'm calling it for Jaggedy Blade, so just put in chat if you're not Bearded Ogre Barashino, who already said specifically hook sword, put in chat whether you prefer Sawtooth Saber or hook sword for your twin jaggedy advanced sword that is the key weapon. Oh, also another vote came in for club.
Oh no.
Oh, it slid in at the last minute. It's a tie. But I kind of already called it for the other one. But you know what? There's another one for 3. So, all right, we see hook sword. We see hook sword. Does anyone else? Does anyone want Sawtooth Saber instead of Hook Sword? Speak now or forever hold your hook. Which is also a sword.
Captain Hook.
Yes. All right. So we'll just do Hook Sword for now, and we'll figure it out later.
And if you're doing this when you're in your home game, you could easily just say, "Oh, it's a club" instead of a Hook Sword if you'd rather.
I mean, it matters for your fighting style because it's a twin weapon. So this person who has the key Hook Sword probably has a non-key Hook Sword.
Yes.
In their other hand too. So we've got a key Hook Sword. It's level 9, +1 striking. We also are going to have a
it's probably going to have some kind of a rune on it.
It might, yeah. There's a pretty likely chance that it will. It also is going to have its special key abilities. But we're also going to have our level 9 shield. Now, obviously, it's not going to literally be a sturdy shield. So what I like to do is use the baselines for a non-sturdy scaling shield established in Battle Zoo Bestiary for shield refining, which is the result of my, sort of back calculating what a good non-sturdy shield would be, and then you can add sturdy on top of it. If you're going to. One that does care about hardness, because I feel like the lock thing should care about hardness somewhat, but obviously it's not entirely all hardness all the time with no other features, because then it would just be a sturdy shield. And it would not be this shield. So, in that case, we'll do a hardnessy level 9 shield. It says here, hardness 9, hit points 54, break threshold 27, and we'll add some other stuff to it. So we've got some of our basic statistics about the shield and the sword available right now. Alright, so let's think about this. It's a key sword.
So, what does this sword unlock?
First of all, what does it unlock?
Yeah, is it just the shield, or can the sword help with unlocking?
It might be able to use the knock spell as well as an activated ability to help unlock anything. First of all, at this level, it can.
Yeah, it can.
It could probably once per hour do a knock, and then it would therefore the modifier for its knock would be, because it can make an attempt at its own modifier, and then it gives a bonus to everybody else who tries to do it. The modifier would be +15 for the knock spell, and then everybody gets a bonus to try to unlock the door. So it tries at a +15 and then gives everybody +4. Once per hour, perhaps.
It unlocks your potential. It
unlocks your potential. There you go. So, if we're looking at special qualities for the property runes, then we might want to think about what type of property we see this as having. So, for example, is it like a chainsaw, a serrated key, where the key parts zzz?
I just saw the word authorized there. What's an authorized weapon? That's
an authorized weapon impales anyone who tries to wield it other than its rightful owner.
Oh, is that a specific weapon? Oh, no,
it's a special rune that the entire thing is that it makes it a real pain for anybody except the appropriate person to use it.
Oh, okay.
It's an authorized weapon. Obviously, we would want a relatively... nothing that was level 9 or above on the property rune. Probably 7 or below, so we could do other things. So, let's see. Flurrying.
That's a monk weapon. Is this a monk weapon? The hook sword? That's all about flurry of blows.
It looks like if you kill someone with the first attack, then a hook sword is a monk weapon, but then you can make a secondary weapon on attack on somebody else, because otherwise it would be wasted.
Yeah.
That's interesting for how you apply it, because it normally says.
But you would have to have flurry of blows and be able to use advanced weapons.
Yeah,
so we're getting more
I'm just interested about the flurrying property, because normally flurry of blows says that you have to roll both of them together and combine the damage before applying it. So the timing on that's kind of interesting. It could be wounding. For example.
The key thirst for blood.
The key thirst for your blood. It could be potentially like pacifying if it like does non-lethal or something. It could be
disrupting if it breaks if it's also unlocking magic maybe.
Or disrupting, I think, destroys undead.
Oh, that destroys undead. Never mind.
It could be hooked because it's hooked.
That's a rare one though.
Yes, a rare Kingmaker one. A hooked
hook sword.
Yes. If it unlocks your potential and knowledge, it could be cunning from PFS Guide, where like you unlock information about them. That could be an interesting one, or like merciful from Treasure Vault.
And then we start getting into the lower level ones.
Yep. So let's see what people think.
Oh, hey,
looks like Dustin Rook authorized. Yeah. There you go.
I mean, it does make sense thematically for a key.
It could be that it's authorized, although since it's like sort of connected to the locked one, and they kind of go together with things. I'm not sure that for a paired item it makes as much sense, but it's a cool rune. I could see it on Abadar people all the time.
Oh, for sure.
So let's see, what of those property runes, if any, do people like? And if you don't like them, we don't have to include them. We can just put our own things into this. We can do whatever we want. It can also be crushing, where they become clumsy on a critical hit. The hooked one makes that so you can trip them on a critical hit. I don't know, like, I feel like cunning works with the idea of, like, unlocking information.
Well, I mean, Zembo just said some kind of augury to unlock plot hooks. So, maybe we go with cunning then?
Yeah, maybe we go with cunning because of that reason.
So there's a
it's the key towards your plot hook.
Cunning hook sword from Treasure Vault.
There you go.
And you can use it to activate it once per hour to use knock with a plus 15.
That's right. Once per hour it can use knock, and maybe also once per hour augury, because Zen Bullet said that. So it has both of those two.
So you can unlock.
You can unlock mysteries
as well as doors.
You can also unlock doors. And then its final ability is that as an interact action, you can unlock somebody who used the lock shield, which an ally with the you can unlock an ally with the lock shield, which ends their locking effect and gives them
we can definitely do a burst of speed at this level.
We certainly can. So it ends their locking effect and gives them like quickened on their next turn. Or maybe quicken for 2 rounds, which can be used to stride, step, or strike. And
how often can you do this?
I'll say you can do it whenever you want.
Probably because the ally would need to...
You spent an action...
You spent an action, your ally also spent an action to get into, like, the lock phase. They spent
action to go into the lock, which you're now ending.
Yes.
And you had to be next to them, and have both of these items. And so, yes... I mean, if they're like, I'll spend an action, then you spend an action to get me quicker for 2 rounds.
That's
like
the same number of actions.
The same number of actions.
It's more that you set up that way and then you.
But you spent actions that were probably more valuable because they were earlier in the fight to get actions that were probably less valuable. So I think I'm okay with that being at will.
Yeah, I'd say that you probably like get that set up in the beginning and then you undo it later on.
If we busted something, then that's the kind of thing that someone who's looking at it can tell us that we busted something. So the shield has the ability to lock yourself into place. So
that's gonna make you harder to like reposition or other stuff like that.
I would say that what that does is you while the shield is raised, or no, maybe it's a 2-action activity.
Yeah, which
raises the shield and then locks you into place as you like lock the shield. And so at that point, until you spend an interact action to unlock yourself or are unlocked by the Keyblade, then you are very difficult to move, and so therefore other creatures are gonna have to defeat the shield's DC of 25 in order to like move or reposition you, or even to trip you probably because you're just kind of standing there with your shield. So if they want to trip you or reposition you, they will have to beat the shield DC of 25 in addition to whatever your DC is. And it also, just like how the knock spell has its own DC and then also gives you a modifier, it also gives you a +2 status bonus to yourself, to your own fortitude and reflex DC to prevent being moved or tripped.
Nice.
So that is the thing that's the action of it that you unlock with the key sword. But we can put something else in there too. And Tela de Locadora says that they're locked, accumulating potential time to unlock, spend extra time. Oh yeah, that's with the lock and unlock. Yeah, exactly. And then it says maybe while you're locked in, it can also cause an emanation effect, such as slowing down enemies, which Rex Liquid added on. So I think that could work. Let's see. So
maybe while the shield is locked, the squares adjacent to you are difficult terrain or something.
Yeah, I like that. While the shield is locked, the squares adjacent to you are difficult terrain. That is a perfectly cromulent way to annoy your enemies.
It's not going to stop them from moving overall, but it's going to be a big pain if they wanted to step away from you.
Especially if they want to step and you have a reaction.
They're not going to get to do that, yeah.
And of course, you're immobilized while it's locked.
Yes.
If you ever somehow lose the immobilized condition, do you lose the benefits of the locked shield? And it can do that locking thing at will, as many times as you want. And maybe it has like a greater thing that it can do less often than that. So, let's see. You know what? This already has uncommon on the weapon because it has an uncommon property. So maybe it can cast Private Sanctum once a day when you're locked. But you have to remain locked.
You have to remain locked for the full 10 minutes.
For the entire 10 minutes, or if you become unlocked before then it ends the Private Sanctum. So if you want to have a conversation that's locked and sealed to you, then you can do it. Normally, a Wand of Private Sanctum would be a 9th level item, and this is a 9th level. It has the shield effects, and it's a pretty good blocking shield, and it has the locking in place, but that's a significant limitation on the Private Sanctum of being centered on you, and you have to remain locked, standing there in the middle the entire time. Oh wait, it's actually a cast time 10 minutes and normally lasts until the next preparation, so I would say that it lasts up to 10 minutes while you're holding your shield up and standing there instead of until your next daily preparation. So it's a shorter duration.
Yeah, while you remain in the lock stance.
Yes. So up to a maximum of 10 minutes.
Yeah. So you spend 10 minutes to put it into effect, and then it lasts for up to 10 minutes.
Yep. Or maybe it lasts up to an hour.
Hour, I think, because of how long,
Yeah, because it took 10 minutes. So it takes 10 minutes of holding the shield, and then you have to keep holding it for an hour. But you can have a
But the shield is locking away your secrets. And then if you have the key, then you break them out of that stance and
Yes, and they get the extra
movement, but if they had Private Sanctum, they wouldn't,
All right. So I think that's probably good for these 9th level Keyblade and lock shield. And we did it in about 40 minutes.
Sweet.
So, yeah, I think that works for now. Shall we do our YouTube outro and then talk about future episodes? All right. Bye, YouTube. See you next time.
Bye.